Charlie. Another episode of parenting. You know, we need to pay attention and not blame. Not everything is spiritual, right? Some of the things we are the sole contributor. We are the same people who generate the problems. We create the problems ourselves and blame it on spiritualities. So um when my mom, this is when my mom came back to my life. Like when she came back to Kumasi stay with my father, trying to amend whatever happened before, but it wasn't easy. So it couldn't work out. They all had their misunderstandings and all that. But one thing that was very consistent was my beatings. My mom beat me a lot, even when in Kumasi. So as a kid, yeah, Charlie, when my mom said she was going to take me to Accra, I like traveling. From a very young age, I really like traveling. My mind wasn't for it. Like, I knew, say, a born the private classes, but I thought maybe it could be different if I go there, you know, maybe it could be less. Maybe the frustration from my dad was the reason why that was influencing her to beat me a lot. I followed her to Accra, Nigeria school. You know, I quite remember when I was in the car going like this. My father was sitting somewhere in a junction because he didn't know we were leaving. But I think somebody told him that we might be leaving. But the way we did the transportation, it was so magic. But I saw him. He was just sitting down, thinking. I saw him, you know, and I keep seeing those pictures in my mind, like I keep getting that kind of picture, like how my father was sitting, you know, like like what men goes through, so many things. I could imagine what was going through his mind, like why did he go wrong? I know, yeah, you can see that in somebody's face, like men go through a lot. As good me growing now, I can understand him better now. So I followed my mom straight to Accra. This woman left me in the hands of my uncles and went to continue living her life like nothing happened. You know? Yeah. So me and my uncles were living, stubbornness here and there. We'd be drinking. They show me alcohol like club. I was drinking club beer like 13 years. Yeah, I was drinking club beer and all that. So my mom will hear about it and come and beat me, like. But why would you come and beat me? Why would you leave me in the hands of men when you are the one who was supposed to be taking care of me? Because those people were like hustlers. So I'm not boy, no music, no more chili, masa. I'm more frail, I'm more frail, boom, now. I'm just me two, I don't know you. Because I work with them and they will go and sit at the club, at the bar, drink, come and buy food, and we go and eat and all that. So I was exposed to those things, and she would come and beat me in blue black. And then in my high school, like, oh, be a make go school, come on, a bomb somebody in school. This man left me like nothing. And not to tarnish, my mom has passed away. Rest in peace with my mom. Rep, Rest in peace to my mom. This thing, I think we opened, me and my mom, we talk about this thing before she passed away. So, most of the things I'm talking about, me and my mom discussed about it before she passed away. That's why I'm very okay to talk about it now. It is not to maybe tarnish her image. Like, my mom was a very good person, but she was very powerful when it comes to parenting. You know, the only option she had was beating. Beating wasn't the option. beating a child is not the option for the child to obey you, to be honest. Because if beating was option, yeah, Charlie, because a lot of people, me, like certain things I will never do. But beating wasn't the thing. I will become fed up, because I can still take the beatings. Beating up me, I can take it, you know. But like I can say, my jeans, you can't control me again. That is the bad side of beating. So there's a way I'll beat in actually Accra. I'm always slow more than beating. I'm being honest. There are so many ways, but I want to do any beating. So for her parenting style, she was very awful with it, but she was very sweet human, a human, very, very sweet human. She was very good person, but when it comes to parenting, yeah, we were not there. My stepmom was one of the best, my auntie, best, because they give me time to explore. They show me love and all that. And my mom was not like that. She didn't have time for those kind of bullshit things like Onia Daji yeah. So as back to there with my uncle. So my mom would be beating me any little provocation. She would beat me like a vomit said here. Me yana banoma. Like how we know, like we think say stepmothers treat their kids. That was how my mom was treating me like I was a stepchild or something. She would me bonus, like, and most of them like metal, very strong things. But bore off, and then so I was fed up. Say, Charlie, I said, I prayed in my heart to us and more. I don't know, like so many things was going through my mind. And there was no way I could say I want to go back to my father. I don't know how, because she would not allow me back then. Because I think it was about fresh, like a year ago, no school. I sometimes go with my uncles to go and hustle, like 13 years, 14. Even though I love the hustle, I'll go with them to go and hustle and all that. Meetings need be a constant. No, so at some point in time, I became so fed up, so fed up. And then it came to my mind, said, I want to end it all. Like best way is I could kill myself or commit suicide. And that was the only option that came into my mind. One Saturday morning, it was raining, and then there was a rat poison. Because before that, my mama had bomb me cry, because my mom was living in Labadi then. So I bet bomb me cry no corner Labadi. And upon I think say Okona and should jail or something. So Okokra, and I'm shuddering, like I was so tired and crying, like I wanna me who say bread dose or like rat poison, rat poison. I took the rat poison. I took the rat, the rat, the nitty and the rat poison, and then drank it, and then and I went off. I'm about to die. Yeah, I was gone. Nothing happened to me. Anything in bread. Like I thought I was dead. I like come take me cry. I'm then sorry compared. I'm there. Compared Bankuni and some pork legs. And I'm the tata and I fine, but a huge trauma. Yeah. So fortunately for me, man, right? Yeah, and then I was leaving, yeah. So manyini yeah kakra, manyini, my mom, yeah, manyini nya kakra for manyini, yeah. So and I opened up because I didn't open up to anybody concerning that rat poison kind of thing, seminal poison, some kind of thing. So what would be a one or catch there's no need. But when I grew up, I told my mom, and do you know what came? She said, oh, it was spiritual manipulation. It was somebody who was doing that, like spiritually. Yo, you were beating me blue black. Like I was going through trauma. and I wanted to end my life. And the only thing you could say, what do you call it? A spiritual manipulation. So, Ubi Nene, spiritually. Like, really, who was doing that? You know? Because I'm only referring this, I'm saying this now because of a news I read some time ago said a 9-year boy has committed suicide, you know. So it came into my mind like a 9-year-old boy. You could imagine the kind of trauma that boy was going through. Obisha, it doesn't mean that the person doesn't have feelings. The person have feelings as you. So the kind of trauma we put people through it at that young age, you know, not everybody is strong enough to, you know, because coming from Kumasi, you know, I was, even before my mom came into my life, I was like a dadabi. Even though I was a stubborn where me a bomb more, but because I was stubborn, so they would beat me. But I was not lacking anything. I was pure dadabi back in Kumasi thing. So coming here and all this, I was so fucking tired and I wanted to end it all. You know, just go back to parenting. Please, mothers out there, fathers out there, guardians, beating is not an option. You know, beating your child to obey you is not an option. You know, you are putting the child through trauma if you don't know. Yeah, because in Nigeria, I would have been dead because I took a poison which should have ended my life. But here I am, you know, like 20, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, here I am. In fact, I would have been dead. Like, really? Dead and gone. I won't be sitting here doing all this kind of video. But I'm just saying this for the purpose of learning and paying attention to our children, you know. The trauma, the beating is too much. You understand? Let's be there and support and love them. You understand? Yeah. So parenting 101. Yeah. Suicide is not an option, please. But at this time I was a young boy who was tired of all this trauma. That was the reason why I wanted to end my life. But that is not an option for any young lad watching this video. Please, if you are going through something, just try and explain it to somebody who can understand you better. Or better still, let somebody advise you, go to social welfare, take your parents there. I think that would be the better option now because if I had the power back then, I would have reported my mom to social welfare because the beatings alone was traumatized, you know. Yeah, so comment, share, and follow for more, you know.